for your efforts to produce a unique and meaningful gala. I'm very happy at this time to turn the program over to Rabbi Malamed.
Shalom, everyone, and thank you all for being with us. Thank you to our amazing committee who put this together. Putting together an online event is not so simple as it used to be, and we appreciate everything you've done. I want to thank our honorees, Nanette Cohen and Marlene Tarshish, and Ezra Kress and their families for agreeing to be honored. We're going to hear more about them shortly. To all the members of the Hesed Committee, may God bless you and watch over you. May you be the recipients of God's Chesed as we have been the recipients of yours. The Hesed Committee started many years ago. I want to mention Phyllis Novick, who, although she moved away from Highland Park a long time ago, was instrumental in starting it. Phyllis and many others sensed the need to reach people in the shul. Whether it was because someone had stopped coming to services, because of a loss, recovery from an illness, a lost job, or dozens of other reasons, we felt that we needed to be there as a caring community for the simple goal of taking care of someone else, which is the definition of chesed. We would meet on a monthly basis. A few of us in the back room, usually after my Tuesday class, and go through the congregational list. And if we knew something about someone who was having difficulty getting to a doctor, someone who needed help with grocery shopping, someone who just needed a call to see how he was doing after a surgery, we would generate our own list, and various tasks would be assigned, and volunteers would be solicited to do a drive or pick up or to make a call. And that's how Chesed would happen. In some ways, the Chesed Committee became the eyes and ears of the shul. But because it was always discreet, nobody knew it existed. For the last several years, Nanette Cohen and Marlene Tarshish have taken over the committee. And while the pandemic has prevented us from meeting as often as we used to, the work goes on every week. When we find out that somebody needs something, we turn to them, and it's magic. It all happens. And that in itself is a great story. In fact, during the last 2 years, it's never been more important. When the pandemic started, the Hesed Committee was one of the first groups we turned to make sure that people who needed things, especially in the long lockdowns, were taken care of. In fact, in some ways, every one of us became extensions of the Chesed Committee. The story of Chesed in our community needs to be told because Chesed sustains us. One of the 3 pillars that the world stands on is Milut Chasadim, the performance of acts of loving kindness. And we know the opposite is true. The world falls apart when there is no kindness. There's nothing worse than to feel that you have fallen between the cracks. We know we're not perfect, but we certainly try our best to do all we can for everyone who needs us. Over the years, hundreds of meals were delivered to bereaved families or to people going through a tough time, and hundreds of visits were made to the hospital, thousands of calls and miles driven, and all the little acts of chesed that make for a mitzvah that is equal to all of the 613 mitzvot combined. Over the years, we've gotten so many kind notes and emails from people because of the quiet and discreet things that the Hesed Committee has done. We know for many, shul is what you see on the bima, but there's so much that goes on off the bima. The world stands on chesed because all communities stand on chesed. If we didn't have acts of chesed, we wouldn't have the third leg to stand on. So in honoring Marlene and Nanette and the Chesed Committee, we are telling another great story in the shul. And we are, not so subtly, saying to everyone here online, and by extension to everyone in the shul, come and join us. Be a volunteer. Make yourselves available to drive someone to Stop and Shop or Rite Aid, take someone to the doctor, make a friendly call, cook a meal, send a card, visit the sick in person or on the phone, comfort the bereaved, provide some clothing to someone who needs something, or furniture or a household object, to people inside and outside the community who are in need. This evening is to honor and to say thank you, but it's also to issue an invitation. Join us in acts of chesed. Be a part of this and be a chesed person. And speaking of chesed people, I want to single out one of our most important chesed people, and that's Ezra Kress. We're going to see and hear more about Ezra a little later, but I simply wanted to say, Ezra, thank you. Thank you for being such an important part of the life of our shul in ways that most people don't get to see. You give us great joy. You inspire us always. We did feel that there was still a lot of apprehension in coming together in person to celebrate this evening, but hopefully that will change for next year. In the meantime, I would be remiss if I didn't say to those who have not yet come back to shul, we miss you. We know these decisions are complicated. We do have lots of outside seating, and the weather is now very nice. However, if you're not ready, we understand. But if you've been doing everything else, then it's time for you to start coming to shul again. Thank you, everyone, for being here and online. And thank you to our 613 committee for giving us yet a 614th mitzvah in being here. Mazal Tov to the honorees, and everyone enjoy the program. We look forward to seeing you all soon. Mazal Tov. And now it's my pleasure to welcome Rabbi Bilabo, grandfather of Ezra Kress, and special person in all of our lives, and a teacher to many of us. It's a pleasure to call upon him for our Torah.
Thank you, Rabbi Malamet. Thank you. Parshat Bahalotcha, this week's Parsha, is most appropriate, I think, for this gala, recognizing the contributions of our honorees. Bahalotcha comes immediately after Parshat Naso, when we just read this past Shabbat of the orderly procession of the princes of the 12 tribes, each bringing on a different day identical gifts for the dedication of the Mizbeach, of the altar in the tabernacle in the desert. Strikingly, the tribe of Levi, the tribe from which Moshe and his brother Aaron come from, were not included in the procession. Bahalotcha begins with God telling Moshe, speak to Aaron and say, Bahalotcha et hanerot, el mu panei hamenorah ya'iru shivat hanerot. Aaron, when you light the flames of the menorah, the 7 flames shall give light in front of the menorah. Rashi was puzzled by this and asked the question, why does God tell Moshe to command Aaron to light the menorah immediately after the princely offerings? And he answers his own question by saying, Lefi shechalsha da'ato shel Aaron, that perhaps Aaron was depressed. He was saddened that the tribe of Levi, his own tribe, was not included in the procession to honor the dedication of the altar. The Midrash comes to give further illumination to this question. And it says, Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the God, the Holy One, said to Aaron, the lights that you're going to kindle, the lights that you will light, will be forever. And the Midrash continues to explain that the light of the flames of the menorah that Aaron lit in the tabernacle were not just lights for that moment, but they were a reminder of the light of the very first day of creation. In God's creating the Torah tells us that God said on the first day, Yehi Or, let there be light. And continues, Vayehi Or, there was light. Vayar Elohim et ha'or ki tov. And God saw that that light was good. We know that that light was not the physical light that gives brightness to a day. For the sun and the moon were not created until the fourth day of creation. So the Midrash again helps us and suggests that the light of the first day that came before any other creations was the light of the Torah that God created to illuminate the world forever, with God's light to guide humanity on a proper path. It says that only righteous, sensitive people, those who are seeking ways to use their lives well, will be able to catch the full illumination of Torah and understand the need to light new lights and pass on an even brighter light of Torah to others. This is why I think Bahalotcha is so appropriate for this occasion this evening, to say Mazal Tov to our honorees, to Nanette Cohen, Marlene Tarshish, the Hesed Outreach Committee, and to my beloved grandson, Ezra Kress. They've taken from the flame of the Torah, from the light lit so many years ago, and carried out its vital teachings through their actions, and they've inspired us to see the brightness of Torah's light, so that we, like them, will choose to follow it along the paths of our own lives. Mazal Tov to our honorees, Mazal Tov to the congregation.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Lico. And now we have the Chesed and Torah time poll questions. Example, how many phone calls, how many meals delivered? Here we go. Here we have the answers. Okay. 71% says at least 12. 18% says 5 to 10. And 11% say they do not make weekly Shabbat phone calls. All of the above for the second question. Perfect. We're now ready for the montage. Video first.
Can you see it? So back to you.
We're getting spotlighted.
Is it pointing right?
Here we go. Ezra, the last time we sat together on the bima, we're now close to the bima, was at your bar mitzvah. And I remember it so fondly. It was Hanukkah, and I said that on Hanukkah there is one candle that lights all the rest, and that's the shamash, and that you were the shamash that lights us all up. You have continued to light us all up and inspire us. Every week, you come into the shul and you help prepare Torah time with Marlene Herman. In a way, you are her partner. And we would be remiss if we didn't thank her as well for being the one who has made it possible for your chesed to shine. I rarely get to see you in action, but I know how much you do, and I know what you mean to all of the kids who participate. You are an incredible part of their lives. Your smile, your warmth, your enthusiasm, your happiness, your chesed brings us great joy. We know how much this shul means to you, but we want you to know how much you mean to this shul. Your parents, Adina and Jeff, and your sister Kira, who I might say is one of the greatest Anim Smirot leaders in congregational history. We're all proud of you. Ezra, on behalf of us, thank you for all the chesed and all the kindness that you do. May God bless you, and may you continue to be a light, an inspiration, and a source of joy for all of us. Mazal Tov.
Be careful, it's not attached.
It's not attached. All right. Turn it around. Okay, put it on the side. Mazal Tov. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Ezra. We're so proud of you.
17,000 hours he's put in.
17,000 hours. Yeah. Move to the next part. The video.
ידענו אש, ידענו רע, באהבה בת 20. ברחנו זה מזו לא פעם, אבל היינו חוזרים. כן חדר זה עודו שומר, זיכרון ימים יפים יותר, עקבות סופה אשר ברחה לה. כאן שום דבר אינו דומה לאשר עבר, לאשר חומק, לאשר הולך איתנו הלאה. יפה שלי, את יחידה ומחושפה שלי, מאור השחר עד לבוא לילה, אוהב אותך, אוהב אדם. אני מכיר את כישופיי, את השקרים, את הסודות. צריך תמיד לפקוח עין, להישמר ממלכותו. ובלילות הכי קרים היו ודאי גם אחרים שאת גוף...
This is a very, very special gala, the 613 gala, which is taking place on 613. How convenient. At 613, gala tells a story. And this year, the story that we're telling is the story of Hesed in our community. Now, the Hesed Committee was formed a long time ago, and it takes a huge role, plays a huge role in the life of the congregation in terms of just the day-to-day reaching out to people, bringing meals, bringing comfort, visiting people, being an extra pair of hands for someone who needs something, getting someone a lift to the doctor, and so many more things. These are the quiet acts of Chesed that happen way beyond the scope of any attention. We had to drag everybody in here to be awarded because nobody who does these acts of Chesed does it for the honor. But we are offering our gratitude and our honor to all of these people to say, first of all, you're wonderful, and all the work that you do is truly amazing, and that you're a very, very special part of the shul life, and that we wanted everyone to emulate your activity, your devotion, your commitment, and your chesed. As we'll probably say over and over in the course of our ceremonies, the world stands on three pillars, ala Torah, ala Avodah, ve'al gmilut chasadim. Truly one of the great pillars upon which the world stands, which is the pillar that we are honoring by the people that are here. So on behalf of the Highland Park Conservative Temple Congregation on Shemet, it is my joy and my privilege and my pleasure to honor all of these people behind me, for whom the chesed in our community, this is one of the pillars of our community, and they enable our community to stand so proudly. Thank you. It's now a pleasure to call upon Marlene Tarshish. Marlene, I remember when you first started coming to shul, you came to check us out. You and Sam were at a point where you were looking for something new, a little different. Everyone welcomed you. And gradually it became second nature to be here on Shabbat morning. It wasn't too long after that you began to make some new friends, because you are the type of person that, and because you are the type of person that likes to give and likes to do, it wasn't too long before you yourself started to join committees and volunteer to do acts of chesed. And so it was that not before long, you became the co-chair of the Hesed Committee, and all the things that you do, collecting information, finding people, organizing, making calls, these are the things that we don't take for granted. They add a dimension to our lives. They make us a caring community and a very warm community at that. I know that you have never sought any honor or recognition. People who do chesed don't do chesed for any reward, other than the joy and satisfaction of knowing that you have made a difference. I know from the person that you are, with humility and a tremendous sense of gratitude, that you feel that you have already received more than you have given. It's in that spirit that we want to thank you and honor you. Thank you for all the work that you do to make our shul so special. Thank you for being a volunteer and a leader. Thank you for being a model to emulate. And thank you for being you. May God bless you, and may God's chesed continue to extend through you and all the acts of chesed that you will continue to do for us, for everyone, for years to come.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Red Skelton said that he never got a dinner, and I didn't expect to get one. So I'd like to thank everyone again. I want to thank Nanette Cohen and especially everyone on the Hesed Committee. They do the heavy lifting, they do the schlepping, they do a lot of the calls and everything else. So again, thank you for everyone, and hopefully we'll continue for many more years.
Mazal Tov. Nanette, I am delighted to present you with this Chesed Award, the 613 Chesed Award. You are the honoree this year at our gala, one of the honorees, certainly. It says, Ki Chesed Chafatzti, for I desire loving kindness. It is a quote from Hosea. It's what God wants. God wants us to be agents of kindness, to deliver kindness. And that's what you do, whether it's a phone call, whether it's organizing people, getting people to be motivated. Everybody responds to your infectious delight at getting the job done. That's what you're about. I know that it comes from a very, very special place in your heart. As a person who I think at times has received chesed and understands the value of community, you have devoted yourself to giving back. And it's very easy. You've made it very easy for people to do that. And we as a community are simply very, very grateful to you for organizing and for being at the helm of this committee, a committee that has been in place for many, many years. And that owes a lot to you for all the things that are done behind the scenes that we are putting in front of the scenes on the screens at our gala this evening. On behalf of the Highland Park Conservative Temple, it is my pleasure to present you with this award. Here it is.
Rabbi, thank you so much, but I'm going to have you hold it for me.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, Rabbi. What beautiful words. They really touch my heart. To the Gala Committee, thank you so much for all your efforts. Really appreciate it. To the co-chair of Chesed and my good friend Marlene Tarshish, What a delight and a joy to work with. And she's a great cook and she's really funny. Mostly, thank you so much to the volunteers of Hesed. You guys are you're the heart and soul of Hesed. This award actually is for you, because you know what, Marlene and I, we may be sitting there, doing the blogs, not the blogs, the emails, making phone calls, but you guys are out there on the street, making Chesed happen, rain or shine, or sleep. A special thank you to my dear husband, Dave, who is always available if there is no volunteer, which is very rare. But Dave, you may not know this, Dave is the main ShopRite kosher experience guy. If somebody wants a meat meal, it's Dave that goes on Thursday. First, he goes to the office, gets the card, goes to ShopRite, gets the food, comes back, gives the card back to the office, and then either brings it home for a volunteer to pick it up, or he has left it here for the volunteer to come and get. So thank you, Dave. Thank you very much. Kindness, compassion, and dignity. That's what Chesed is all about. That's how Marlene and I, two Brooklyn gals, work Chesed. Thank you.
Sim shalom, tova, uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. Grace and kindness, we will find this within us, those despairing, we're repairing the world with love. Those in crisis, paying prices, we see you, we see you. Silenced voices without choices, we hear your cries. Sim shalom, tova, uvracha.
Once again, thanks to the committee for all the work they put in to make the gala an enjoyable experience. We thank you all for your contribution to this event. You've made it a community success. Please, let's all applaud one another for our ability to come together while apart. And here's to next year's gala in the shul.
Thank you for joining us. Lila Tov, everybody, and just to announce that the Maariv service will be on the regular Zoom channel at 7:30. Everyone, thanks so much. Mazal Tov. One last wave from Ezra here. Okay. Bye-bye, everyone. Lila Tov, everybody.
Good job, Ezra. Nice.
ברחמים, בחיים, בשלום, וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל, ישראל, בכל עת ובכל שעה, בשלומך, שים שלום. Shalom, shalom.
ברחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל עמך שים שלום טובה וברכה חן וחסד ורחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל עמך שים שלום טובה וברכה חן וחסד ורחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל עמך grace and kindness we will find this within us, those despairing, we're repairing the world with love. Those in crisis, paying prices, we see you, we see you. Silence voices without choices, we hear your cries. Shalom Tova Racha Hein Chesed Rachamim Aleinu V'yal kol Yisrael Lecha Torah Chaim Ve'avat Chesed Tzedaka Uveracha Verachamim Chaim V'shalom V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך שים שלום טובה ברכה חן וחסד ורחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל עמך Rachamim aleinu